In this video, I'm bringing you 7 fragrances that, based on my experience, they're some stunners. They're showstoppers. And what I mean by that is I've literally had people stop in their tracks to either ask me what I'm wearing, tell me how good I smell, something along those lines. We're going to talk about them. Stay tuned. So before we jump into the first one, obviously, like I said, this is based on my experience. I'm sure for you, it's going to be a different batch of 7. There may be some that do, in my video, that do the same for you. I would like to think so, because they're amazing fragrances. But let's jump into this first one. So the fragrance that actually sparked this video idea in the first place, I have only worn it one time. I just got it. Yesterday I wore it. I had 3 different people, in, not counting my wife, stop me. We had a lot of running around to do yesterday. We went eat somewhere. We had to go run by the grocery store. I'm talking about YSL Live. Man, look, a lot of people told me how good this was. And it does have that Invictus type of smell mixed with YEDP, basically. Man, is this stuff good, and does it produce results? If you're looking to get some attention of those around you, especially in like the first 2 to 3 hours of wearing it, Live Intense is no joke. Everything I've heard about it is very true, and I got to see it firsthand in my first wearing, that this literally stops people in their tracks, standing in line at the register at the grocery store, going get seated at a restaurant. It grabs attention. It's intriguing. It smells so good in the air. It makes people want to know what the hell you're wearing, for sure. Now, is this going to happen every time I wear it? I don't know yet. I've only worn it once. But so far, the first time, I was taken back by how much attention this actually garnered me. And I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody like this. I'm not saying it's going to happen again for me. But after one wearing, to have, counting my wife, 4 compliments, that's impressive. That's impressive. So my first impressions, I was taken back by this one, to even go as far as to say I like it better than the original Invictus, which is an all-time favorite fragrance of mine. This stuff's special. 60 ml may have been too small of a bottle to buy. We'll see as time goes on. But the first one that I would consider an absolute showstopper, Live. This fragrance never fails to get me some positive attention because it's pretty loud. It does last quite a while. The quality's there. The geranium adds this menthol quality up top. It's a spicy, sweet vanilla. It's Parfums de Marly LAYTON. Old tried and true, old faithful. This stuff is just a great fragrance. While not the best time of year to wear it now that it's getting really hot, in the cooler to cold months, mild days, evenings especially, this stuff draws attention, especially in that, like, same thing with Live. That first 3 hours or so, when it's really coming off of my skin, I mean, it seems like pretty much every time I've worn it, somebody has said something, even if it's just my wife, when I walk out after I've sprayed my fragrance on before we go wherever we're going, it's, ooh, man, you smell nice. Something along those lines. You smell great. What are you wearing? But I've had many times, in-laws, happens a lot at the grocery store, believe it or not, when we stand in line, because we don't do self-checkout all that often. If we're in line and I'm wearing something along these lines, it's happened with this one a few times, where they, what are you wearing? That smells really good. Definitely garner some compliments, get some positive attention. I know this works for a lot of people. It's a well-beloved fragrance. Probably, it's hard for me to say it's my favorite PDM fragrance, but it's up there for sure. I really love Colognes. I'm really digging Sedley. I've got several from them, and it's hard to, peg this as my favorite. LAYTON Exclusive's really good, a bit more animalic, but man, pretty much every time I wear this one, I've had it just stop people to want to know what I'm wearing because I smell so great. Get a sample if you haven't tried this one. This is nothing new. This one's been hyped to death, and this one deserves the hype. It's a damn good fragrance. It's Parfums de Marly LAYTON. So based on my experience, this is one of those when you walk by, they gotta know what it is type of fragrances. Coffee, chocolate, leather, Maninka fruit, Boss the Scent Private Accord. Yes, I'm really digging Absolute recently, but I've had a lot of success with getting some positive attention with Private Accord. Private Accord is a stunning coffee fragrance. One of my favorites. It's such a unique scent profile. I don't have anything that smells even remotely close to this, outside of another flanker in its own line with Absolute having some similarities because of the Meninka fruit, but outside of that, I mean, chocolate coffee leather mixed with that Meninka fruit Boss the Scent DNA. It's beautiful. Not a synthetic fragrance for being a Hugo Boss fragrance. It's lovely. The trail is stunning in this fragrance. It's great to get some positive attention. I have put quite the dent in this big, it's a big gigantic 200 ml. Obviously this is a massive bottle, but there's a decent amount missing from there. I did decant a little bit for a friend long time ago, but there's a lot of sprays missing from this that have been on this neck and on this chest for sure. And like I said, this is another one that when you walk by, it's not just standing around, it's getting the trail to work for you. This one, when somebody's walking behind you, that's the majority of the compliments I've ever gotten from this fragrance, is when somebody was behind me. Not just me walking by them, when they were actually behind me and they felt the need to catch up to me the few steps or whatever to ask me what I was wearing because it smelled so good, and they've never smelled that before. Because not everybody's wearing this around you. While a popular fragrance, what's the odds of you walking by somebody else wearing Private Accord? Very, very low. It's possible, but very, very low. Definitely a stunning fragrance that gets a lot of compliments from me in my experience, and one that I've urged for a long time now. In the cooler months, you need this bottle. Sample it and make sure it's for you, obviously, but in my experience, it works wonders. It smells great in the trail. It's a showstopper for sure. Hugo Boss the Scent, Private Accord. For as much as I wear the EDT the most, and how I love the smell of the Parfum, it's my favorite, the one that has actually gotten me the most attention in the Sauvage line is Sauvage Eau de Parfum. My smallest bottle, the one I've worn the least of the three, has gotten me the most compliments. And look, shame on me for not wearing it so much, because actually I like it better than the EDT. I just like the Parfum a little bit more because this one's a little spicier. This one's projects about as heavy as the EDT does for me. Lasts just as long. I mean, this is an 8 to 10 hour fragrance easily on my skin. This performs like a beast. Very loud and big sillage. And I've gotten more compliments out of this than the other two combined probably. If I was to sit here and really think back, it's got the least amount of wears and probably the highest number of compliments combined. That's crazy to really think about, you know. I've had people tell me that, oh, it's been reformulated, it doesn't perform that well anymore. I mean, if you want to check my batch, feel free. I'll make sure to put it to where you can see the batch code. Let me get it to focus. If I can get it to focus. There we go. So there's the batch code if you're interested. My bottle's not that old. I got this from Kingdom Fragrances. Steve picked this up from his distributor for me. I actually asked him to get a bottle, scoop a bottle up for me. I forgot how much it was, but this was a while back. I've had it for a while now, but this did come compliments of Kingdom Fragrances. That was where I picked this up. I want to say I've worn it maybe a handful, maybe a little more than a handful of times, 6 or 7 times. And I want to say I've gotten a compliment every single time I've worn it, at least one, not just my wife. This stuff works. This is why people wear Sauvage. I know it's played out to talk about it, but I mean, it smells great. It's versatile. It smells great in the air. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and deny it. When I worked at Toyota, they had like 6 or 7 guys that were wearing it. I would not wear Sauvage then, but I smelled Sauvage all the time, and not one time did I think, man, that smells awful, or I'm sick of smelling that. It always smelled good. I always know. I know the smell, so it was always nice to pick up the trail for me personally. I like how it smells in the air as well, and based on my experience, those around me, they stop in their tracks for this one. More so than the EDT, more so than the Parfum. If you haven't tried the EDP yet, I don't know what you missed, why you haven't tried it yet, get a carded sample. That was how I tried it. I still have a little bit left in my carded sample. But this is definitely, if I was to tell you to pick up one for the versatility, it's definitely the EDP. The EDP is the way to go in my opinion. The reason I've yet to pick up any of the flankers of this fragrance, it's the original DNA in the line, is because every time I'm in the mood for this DNA, I'm cool with just wearing the original because I love the way it smells. It's warm, it's spicy, it's a little dusty. It's got this dry chestnut and the dry down. It just works. Stronger with you. Emporio Armani, it's one of my wife's favorite fragrances in my collection. I don't wear it all the time, but in the cooler months, I do like to pull this one out, and it's a showstopper. No denying it. Man, look, I like to wear this one to dinner in the cooler months. I'll rotate between this and one of the La Nuit de l'Homme flankers, though that's kind of my go-to. When I don't want to wear something La Nuit de l'Homme, this is my other option. That's where the sprays come from on this one, is for dinners and evenings out in the cooler months. And more times than not, I've had people have to know what I'm wearing when the hostess seats us at our table, or whether it's, you know, whoever's eating dinner with us, if it's a double date, if we have family with us, or the occasional time of our server asking me because they could smell me, because I usually sit in the aisle side of this. If it's a booth, I sit on the aisle side. If it's a table, obviously you're out in the open a bit more. But that's the scenarios I wear this in, and that's the experiences I've had with this. It's a stunner. I've heard Intensely is fantastic. I've heard Freeze is kind of meh. It's good, but it smells like a lot of other things. I haven't tried Leather. There's a lot of flankers I need to get my hands on from this. And Pete, you guys tell me all the time I need to try these flankers. And eventually I will. But every time I'm in the mood for this scent DNA, I'm just cool with wearing the original because I like it so much. It's great for me. The wife loves it. It's great for her. And based on my experiences, it's great for those around me. So if you haven't tried it yet, I really think you should, because it's definitely a showstopper based on my experiences. It stops people in their tracks. They want to know what the hell I'm wearing when I'm wearing Stronger With You. More times than not when I wear this fragrance, because it's so powerful and loud, it's probably the blue fragrance that's gotten me the most compliments, besides one other, and that would be BVLGARI AQUA ATLANTIQVE. I recently wore this one as well. I actually wore it to the gym also, and I had two people at the gym want to know what I was wearing. It's way too loud for the gym. I normally wouldn't wear something this loud to the gym, but I just felt the need. It's so good. Loud off of my skin. You know, 8 to 10 hour fragrance, easy every single time. Super strong, above average, beast mode type of projection, almost room filling type of stuff. Now, this bottle is over 2 years old, and I'm not sure if it's been reformulated, because I'm sure somebody will say, oh, I only get 4 hours out of it. And you very well could. I get a lot of performance out of this. I've gotten a lot of success with getting positive attention from people out of this. This is a stunning blue fragrance. There's only one other fragrance that would fall into the blue category that has done more, and it's the next fragrance we're going to talk about. I really consider that one more light blue, and this falls into the blue category because this has that density. And this is, yes, it's geared towards the summer, but I feel like this works well in spring and fall as well. Whereas the other one, I only wear it in the summer. It's about to really start hitting the rotation now. But BVLGARI AQUA ATLANTIQVE, in my experience, the best one in the line. I think it smells the best. It's the most powerful. And it's the one that's had people want to know what I'm wearing when I wear it. I haven't gotten but maybe one compliment with Marine. Never gotten a compliment from Amara the handful of times I've worn that. And I haven't spent enough time with the original yet. I haven't really worn it much. But AQUA ATLANTIQVE, this stuff just, it works. Get a bottle. It's amazing. So last in this video, the blue fragrance, which I actually consider more a light blue fragrance, not just because of the color, because it's a lot fresher. It doesn't have the density, but it still projects really heavy. No fragrance has gotten me more compliments than this fragrance. It is a showstopper. I've had people at work in the past. I've had people when I run errands. I've had people when I go shopping. You name it. If it's in the first 2 to 3 hours of me wearing this fragrance, I'm most likely going to have somebody ask me what I'm wearing and tell me I smell good when I'm wearing Invictus Aqua 2018 to present from PACO RABANNE. This stuff is awesome. It really is. I love it. little synthetic? Sure. Ambergris dominated, grapefruit, watery, super aquatic, a little powdery from the violet and the violet leaf that's in here. It works. It works. If you've been watching me for a while, you already knew this was going to be in here. You know when I talk about the fragrance that's gotten me the most compliments that I'm talking about this. But for those of you new to the channel, this is my jam right here. This is my favorite fragrance in my collection. For all the luxury niche fragrances I have, on down to some favorite cheapies, you name it, I still love the way this smells the most. It's gotten me the most positive attention. It's an above average performer while not being a beast for me. It's one that I always recommend for people to go try. Sample this one. You can anywhere they sell Paco Rabanne fragrances and they have testers, you're most likely going to find a tester of this, which this is a tester. That's why it says the name on the front. Spray it on your skin. Check it out. Most likely the lady or guy, whoever's working the fragrance counter right there when you spray it on is going to say, "Whew, you smell good." Even if they've smelled it 1,000 times, because it smells that good. No fragrance has been more of a showstopper for me than Invictus Aqua. I urge you, get out and try this bad boy so you can see what I'm talking about. And hopefully you'll get the same results I get. Well, that's the 7 I wanted to discuss with you. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Any of the 7 that I brought you today that are just, these are the top rated ones. Why Live sparked this video idea because I was just so taken back with the attention I got from it in one wearing. Crazy. I will be doing a full review coming up on that one. I want to wear it a few more times, but man, it always feels good to get a nice compliment. And I don't get compliments every day. I don't get compliments on every fragrance I wear, but it's noteworthy for certain fragrances because some of them it happens so rapidly with that it's memorable. These 7 of the strongest compliment getters in my collection. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 7 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.